Hi, this is my tutorial of Biblios for Ari and Leia, who have won the Star Wars Trivia Challenge. This is my version of the game. You'll get a new one with wine stock. So to set up the game, you put this little board with the 5 dice, each starting at 3, and each color goes with its color on the board. So brown with the brown, blue on blue, and so on. Start with the 3, and you have this big deck of cards that you'll shuffle, and this is how you set up. The goal of the game is to win over these dice. At some point of the game, the dice will change. So this might change into a 5, this might stay a 3, this might be a 1, this might be a 5, this could be a 2, and this will be, let's say, a 6. And so let's say in a 4-player game, player 1 won this and this, player 2 won this, player 3 won this, and player 4 won this one. In this case, player 4 won because he has a 6. Even though player 1 has won 2 dice, it doesn't matter. It's how many points you get. So even if player 1 won 3 dice and one player had a 5, this player would win because he had more points. Okay, so it's not how many dice you win, it's the value of the dice. Okay, now this is how we play the game. In a 4-player game, this plays 2 to 4. In a 4-player game, first of all, you randomly remove, I believe, 7 cards from the deck. 3 players, I think you might remove 12 cards and some money cards, but look in the instructions. It will tell you how many cards you randomly remove from the game. Okay, so in a 4-player game, this is how you play the game. The first player will draw cards equal to the number of players plus 1. So in a 4-player game, he will draw 5 cards. He must draw them one at a time. So he'll pick the first card, look at it. Then he has 3 choices. He can keep it to himself, he can put it in a discard pile, or he can put it face up for the other players. Okay, so let's say he took it to himself. The second one, let's say he gives it to the other players. The second one, he gives it to the other players. The third one, he looks, he discard pile. So the 5th card must be to the other player. And then in order, each player will take 1 card. So let's say second player will take this card, third player will take this card, and the 4th player will take this card. Okay, and then we go around the table, and the second player will again draw 5 cards, one at a time. It's very important, one at a time. And he'll look at the first card, decides, does he want to keep it? Does he want to put it in a discard pile or give it to other players? So let's say he puts it to other players, discard, other players. Now he must take the last one, even though that card might be worse than the other ones. Okay, he has to take it. And you're gonna do this for the entire deck. Okay, you'll go around, each person will pick cards one at a time and decides, himself, to the others, to the discard pile, and then in order, every player will take 1 card. Okay, and we do this until we run out of the cards. Now, what do the cards mean and how do you play the cards? So there's 3 different types of cards. The first thing is money cards. there is 1 money, 2 money, and 3 money. Then there are church cards. And I'll explain what these are in a second. And then there is value cards. So you have here 2 orange, a 2 brown, 3 brown, 1 red, 3 blue, and the person who has the most of each color, the highest, when you add up all the values in your hand at the end of the game, whoever has the most blue, let's say I had 5 blue cards and they total up to 12, and the other players had, 3 blue cards and total up to 10, and everybody else had less, I would win blue, and that means I won the blue die because I had the most blue points. And same thing for red and brown and all the colors. Whoever has the most value of each color will win the die, the corresponding die. Now, the church cards. The church cards are the cards that will influence the die. So, in this example, if you have this card, you can reduce 2 dice, 1 value. So you can make this into a 4, or you can make this one into a 1. Okay? And if you have this church card, you can increase 1 die plus 1. So you can make this into a 2. Now, how do you know which dice to decrease or increase? Is you want to look at your hand, and if you have a lot of blue cards, you might want blue to go up. And if you know somebody is going for another color, or you don't have many of the red, let's say, then you might want to bring the red down to 3. Okay, now, when you get a church card, let's go back to the first step of the game. When you pick up a card and decide if you want to give it to other players or to yourself or into the discard pile, if you pick up a church card and you want to keep it to yourself, you have to use the church card right away. So you right away influence the die and the card goes out of the game. If you put a church card for other players to pick, right? If you give a church card to other players to pick, and let's say the second player picks this, and the third player picks the church card, he has to do it right away. Okay, so then he will take that and he'll plus 1 on 2 dice. Okay, so whenever you take a church card, you have to play right away. Okay, and So this is how it goes. You go through the entire deck, you pick one for yourself, 1 discard pile, and everybody takes turn taking from the face-up cards. After you run through the deck, you'll have a pile from the discard pile. Remember, every turn you have to give 1 card to the discard pile. And this is the second part of the game. And this is how you play the discard pile. A first player will go and he will reveal the top discard pile, and let's say it's a 2. Now he gets to bid. With all his money cards. I mean, if he wants this, everybody bids. So let's say he say, "I'll bid 2 money." Then it goes to the next player. He'll say, "I'll bid 3 money." Then it goes back to the third player. He'll say, "Pass." Then the fourth player will say, "I'll give 4 money." Then he has to go through his hand. And find money cards to pay for it. Okay, so you pay for it, and you get that card. So you get to keep this. And then the next person will again reveal a card from the discard pile, and everybody will bid for it. So you bid with your money. Okay, so when we go back to the first part of the game where you reveal cards and you want to take some money cards in order to use them in the second part of the game, which is the auction part. Which is in the auction part, so you can get more cards because there will be cards in the discard pile. So some cards that will be in the discard pile will be money, right? Because let's say somebody put a money card in the discard pile. Now when you reveal money card, how do you bid for money with money? You don't. For money you actually bid cards. So let's say this 2 money card comes up. I will say I'll bid 2 cards for it, and somebody else will say I'll bid 3 cards for it. Well, why would you want to bid cards? I thought you want to save them to build your value so you can win over this dice. Yeah, but sometimes you'll have 1 red card and 1 blue cards, so you know you're not going to win that dice. So you might as well spend them on money cards, and maybe you can use that money for when another card from the discard pile reveals itself. Okay, and if there's ever a church card in the discard pile and it's revealed, whoever wins that auction will get to use the effect right away. So that's how you play the game Biblios. At the end, after we go through the auction pile, then everybody reveals their cards in their hand, and we'll go by one. We'll say, all right, who has the most brown? And then you'll look at your cards, you'll count, oh, I have 10 brown points. Whoever has the most will win the brown die, and then whoever wins the blue die, whoever wins the red die, and the green die. And then you see who has the most points on the die, and that is the winner. And that's how you play Biblios. It's fairly simple. There's instructions here. It has instructions in here. And also David Lerman and Weinstock know how to play the game, so they can assist, and instructions are here. There might be a few minor rules that I didn't go over, but that is basically the idea of the game. Enjoy and have fun.